Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Philip Radukic. I'm a product manager and senior consultant here at CXperts, and as such responsible for the UPV web services, browser-based viewing, and associated technologies. But today we're starting an all-new webinar series concentrating on various real-life use cases. These use cases will show some examples on how UniversalPlantViewer, UPV, can be implemented to make processes run more smoothly, how to save time and effort, and utilize the various features of UPV at its best. Today's part one of the series will be covering a topic relevant on a day-to-day basis on site, especially in owner-operator environments, and that's lockout and tagout procedures and how UPV can assist you with dealing with these. As always, this session will be recorded and we will provide you the link to the recording subsequently by email. Another notice, at any time during the webinar, feel free to use the questions panel and state your questions, and I will try to answer as many as possible after the session. So this being said, let's actually look at today's agenda. So first of all, we'll have a look at a short introduction to the topic, then handling and visualization of lock lists, or also depending on the corporate wording, isolation lists, setting and changing lock status in a digital twin environment, and animations for training, different training scenarios. So giving an example how animation could look like. And last but not least, preview on upcoming features for the use case. So this is a proof of concept demonstration of how managing lock lists or isolation lists could be done with future features introduced with the upcoming version of UPV. Then actually, let's have a short introduction in the topic generally. So lockout and tagout procedures are a challenge that basically any company out in the field is facing, regardless of their product, their location, or even the branch they're in. Whenever maintenance has to be done, whenever a turnaround is planned, there are procedures that make sure that the working environment is safe and stays safe. So as the products, locations, branches are various, also like a customer's, the same thing it is with the use cases. So shutting down or isolating, for example, let's say a steam pipe, hazardous materials, or poisonous materials, for example, moving equipment like conveyor belts and similar, there's always the need to shut these down for maintenance or similar purposes. And while doing so, making sure that the work environment is safe for the workers conducting the works on there. And around these assets, we'll also need to make sure that the shutdown assets cannot be put back to duty by accident or by negligence. So locking these assets requires good work organization as well as transparent tagging and thorough documentation of the lock states. So UniversalPlantViewer can help you prepare and manage this in a digital twin environment. So what are the challenges? The identification of valves switches to lock. So probably in most cases, you know that when you're defining isolation points, first of all, they need to be defined by, for example, PNID, or somebody needs to go out in the field. Mostly it's SHE, Safety, Health, and Environment, that's preparing these, and they need to be handpicked. So what are the risks here? Well, you could identify the wrong asset without a proper visualization of it and seeing it in the surroundings where it stands. Second challenge, documenting the lock state and key number. What are the risks here? Well, first of all, loss of time for work organization. Why is that? Because basically you need, hold on, you need to define, okay, what's the lock state, which lock or locking system has been used, which key number has been used. So in case you need to unlock it again, you need to have any type of documentation, what key to use, obviously. Checking confirmation of lock status. So once the lock has been set, usually for safety reasons, this needs to be double checked because it's usually safety relevant assets that are locked. So again, you have a loss of time searching for the according assets, finding them, and then confirming the status, which is usually done by paperwork. Going out with a clipboard, check marking, okay, has been locked, confirming it, signing it, going on to the next one. But you still have this searching time that you need. And that's, as I said before, many more challenges depending on the company and the various setups of those isolation or lockout lists. So what is our solution? First of all, pick the assets visually in the model. So you don't only see the model itself, you see, for example, anything surrounded it. How can I reach this? Is it reachable easily, or do we need some additional work to prepare to actually even get to the valve or switch that needs to be taken offline? So the fact is, save on wait times on site and have a faster identification of the items. Then, as mentioned before, document set states and lock numbers. How can we help? Well, you can keep track of setups and documents on site. For example, working with a mobile device where you can just visually pick the item or even use QR or RFID codes to identify the valve and then set its state in the software, which will all directly be stored away. Improve checkup procedure efficiency. Well, as I said, you can identify assets to check a lot faster. You can highlight the supposed state and combine or compare to the as is state on the field. And besides that, the solution that we're offering here is customizable depending on your needs. So basically, the goal here is not to adapt your work to the software, but have the software adapt to your working needs. So this being said, let's actually have at a live demo what this could look like. Let me open up a lock list example. Here we go. And perhaps also, yes, have them side by side here. So this is an example for a lock or isolation list. Well, already did differentiation between 3 different positions. So station 1, station 2, the pumps, and the state they're supposed to be in. So how does UPV help here? First of all, every asset and every object in the 3D model can be addressed through so-called deep linking. And the links you see here are basically deep links I've already prepared for the items in question. So let's switch here to attributes. And I'm on purpose not going to pick any object from the 3D model directly, but just click on the link. And the 3D model will jump and highlight, jump to and highlight the object that we selected. So this is the valve with the tag number VG3-003. And here now we have custom attributes that are defining the state and the lock. So in this case, it needs to be locked closed, and the lock number used is, oh, I'll take 12. Then we can go to the next one here. Say, okay, this one needs to be closed too. The lock is 13. I'll just go up here, and then we have the drains that need to be locked open, and that's going to be key, let's say 15. I know I jumped some, but they've been in use somewhere else. And going here, say, okay, locked open, locked would be 16. And if I zoom out here, what I can do now is actually, hold on, let me actually show you the legend here. But double clicking on the state here, I actually get the coloring from our custom attributes that we picked. And here I can now visualize, okay, the red ones are supposed to be locked, the green ones are locked open. So locked closed, locked open. So basically we could now exchange this control valve here in the middle. And basically no matter where I am in the plant, I chose everything that's not regarding piping to color, actually make it transparent and gray. Everything that's undefined to be gray, and just our set states here are colorizing. So if we want to revert this, all we have to do is double click on state, and we're getting back to the regular coloring. And the same thing is filling this list is now easier because I can say, okay, I want to add a valve here, which is BL2002, and all I have to do is type it in here. Also, for creating these links, you can use our deep linking features. More information about that you can find on www.caexperts.com/help under deep linking. Besides that, we're also glad to help you with that. Just contact us under support@caexperts.com. We can give you some hints how to automatize these linkings in Excel using maybe one or two simple Excel formulas to generate links as easily and quickly as possible. Okay, well, it's as easy as just changing a field and entering some text with a lock number to actually already handle a lock or isolation lists in UPV. So what else can we do? We can, for example, create animated training scenarios. So before we actually enter the field, before somebody goes out to do the lockout, we can define scenarios how to approach the whole procedure. So I have prepared a small video here. Well, it's actually not a video, it's a real-time animation within UPV. So the difference between UPV animations and videos is that while the animation is running, we can still move around in the model and look at the scenario from every single angle, every different angle, and I'll just start this. So first of all, we want to exchange this control valve. So first thing we have to do is close and lock closed the valve on the left side, the valve on the right side, and you see while these colors are changing, I'm just moving around freely in the model. So now we're opening up the drains and locking them open, and this is the valve we want to exchange. We're taking out the red one or the pink one, we're replacing it with a blue one, a turquoise one, and putting it back in. Now the drains are shut off again and locked closed, while the main valves are now turned back on again from right to left. So with such easy tools, and I can tell you, creating this animation took about, well, maybe 1.5 to 2 minutes. But it's easy to visualize also for workers that are new to the plant, what needs to be done, where it needs to be done, and how the states are supposed to be here. But as I mentioned before, this is how it works now. This is with the current UPV version, but we're preparing currently probably one of the biggest releases of UPV ever for Q1 23, and I will be showing you a small preview of some really new and high-end features that we're currently developing that will make this whole procedure even easier. So let me switch here, maybe also remove the colors. So we start from scratch here. See the same model in our new, well, this is still a development version, so not everything is perfect yet, but what we actually wanted to show you is this here. Now we have the option to add a web component, our web module here, and this allows you to integrate external applications and especially also our API calls and have them interact bidirectionally with our model. So in this case, the lock lists I defined earlier in Excel, I can switch between them. And when I move a bit closer here, you can actually see whenever I select a list, it will colorize the objects that belong to this list. So here we have a little bit of a different color code. As opposed to green for open and red for locked, this is now rather according to the list is green. Well, the lock state or open state is correct, but the lock number is missing, it's yellow, and red, it's an incorrect entry. So this has not been set yet. So without using Excel now, I can just click on the object, zoom in, and let me move this a bit, scoot this a bit over here. Yes. And yeah, now I can set the state, what it's supposed to be here, open. And now you see, okay, oh, suppose lock state is open, the actual current state is open, that's right. And the lock number we've used is 48. And as soon as I enter the number, it is updated in this module here, and it turns to green. So basically, I can repeat this also for this one here. And this way, our lock list has been completely set to green. So this means everything is according to the state it's supposed to be. So as I said, this is development version, so I cannot show you the colorizing by open or close state. But basically, this will work exactly as in the first example I showed you. And as I said, the advantage here is that the objects directly highlight, and you can already see which valves need to be adapted. So the worker can go out on the field and basically go by this list, pick the stations, zoom into the stations, find where they are. You can identify the valves by clicking on them in the list, or using a QR or RFID code attached to the valve tag. So all he has to do, or she, is just take the tag, scan it with a mobile device, and will be automatically focused in UPV on that item where the state can be set. This can be connected to database in the background, and basically the programming behind it is not included in the core of UPV, but is now customizable and can be adapted to absolutely any individual need. So you see, when I switch through it, the data's here. And as I said, we can store this in any database or connect, for example, to SAP PM or similar So or even a non-standard database, because we have an open API, an open programming interface that will allow us to address any object or asset within UPV and connect to any data source outside of UPV. Well, this has actually been it for the presentation of the live demo. First of all, does anyone have any questions? So let's have a look at this point, because I can imagine that this topic is a bit broader in the use cases, so we can actually talk. I kept extra a bit more time to talk about this. So when will the new features be available? As I mentioned before, it's currently under development. We're currently expecting to be releasing this new UPV release, including this web module with programmable interfaces, sometime during Q1 2023. So not too far in the future, but unfortunately not in the next few weeks either. So do you already have a fully grown lockout tagout solution? No. This what I've just shown is a proof of concept. So for a really fully grown lockout tagout environment, we would have to have a lot more like approval systems and perhaps of some type of workflow integration. So only if SHE has approved, this list will be released for the users in UPV and similar. So there's a lot of ways or a lot of directions that we could go with this. So this was just an example of suggestion, but we will be more than glad to consult you on that and find the right solution that would work out for your company. So let me see. Can we make after the control of the state of the valves and extract of the changed set states of the items? Well, yes, especially using the API. You can actually have a trigger or an event that will let you know that the custom attributes have changed, and can also give you the new value. And besides that, any states that we set here, we can export in a report and report on that. So that way we can actually absolutely easily compare what has changed. Is the lock list live from the model? This means it will immediately change the states. Yes. So what we did, as I said, we're using this event. Custom attribute has changed, and we're sending this information basically to this a web application that we built into UPV with a viewer, and this is changed directly outside of UPV. So if you have a database behind it, you can also set it to write it directly to the database. So that way you can also make these changes and also custom attributes persisted within a database outside of UPV and updated in real time. What kind of license will be needed, and when will it be available? Well, okay, about the availability, I've already said like in Q1 of 23. Currently, no additional licenses will be needed. It will be one of the extended features of the new all new UPV release that we're preparing. Could this be used for electrical lockout, tagout? I know that in one of my sentences during the webinar I mentioned that we can not only control or document valves, but also switches. Basically, it all depends on your model and the detail that is represented. Basically, any object in 3D can be used, for example, this type of logout tagout visualization, as long as it is an object that we can see, we can address it. So long story short, yes, it would also be possible to use it for electrical logout tagout. Can you go into more technical detail on the architecture of the new UPV version feature and the demo? Well, it is some type of web viewer plugin, and it's going to be able to, due to safety reasons, to have a white or black list of sites it can address, and basically any JavaScript or WebAssembly, or you call it, application that can run in a browser will be able to run in this window and also address the API. So that way we have actually created a multi-purpose tool here that can be used for a full customization and integration in whatever system, or in this case, even say integrate any system into UPV, and at the same time be able to control UPV from that one. So similar to API solutions that we're already offering, but instead of embedding UPV into an API environment or having a separate application running next to it, in this version you will be able technically to embed it in UPV. Okay, so one question is a bit spread out over a few lines here. Can it be integrated in a database or even an intelligent system which can directly stay in exchange with UPV? Yes, absolutely. So if you have any type of intelligent management system in place, you can connect it and stay in exchange with UPV constantly and in real time. So as I keep mentioning, the API is a really highly powerful tool that supports all types of data and information exchange and visualization control. Okay, great. Well, unfortunately, our webinar is coming to an end, so questions I might have not been able to answer. During our Q&A now, I will be more than glad to answer those subsequently by email. Let me point out the upcoming webinar in 2 weeks, which will be part 2 of a use case series, work permitting. This means how can we deal with work permitting, how can we visualize work permits, and what else can we do with UPV in combination with this use case. Looking forward to see you again in this next webinar. And all that's left for me to say is thanks for your attention and your time. And for further information, feel free to contact us under the displayed, probably to most of you, well-known email addresses or the according sales representatives for your region. So all that's left to say here is you all have a great day, rest of the week, and looking forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks and bye-bye.